Today I like to talk about Late Autumn by Yasujiro Ozu. This is a 1960s film um, by Yasujiro Ozu, and it's based on, again, the same thing as Equinox Flower, the movie 1958 film. Um, the same author, Ton Satomi's, based on Ton Satomi's fiction, say. It's called Akibiyori in Japanese, Sunny Fall Day or something like that in a direct translation. But the English title is Late Autumn. And all of his, the Ozu's film, the late Ozu's film is pretty much the same theme, variations, right? It's always like a father and daughter relationship, and a family struggle, and in a post-war Japan, 1950s, 1960s Japan. And it's very, very interesting because even though I grew up in the 1950s and 60s, I still feel like, wow, those society is completely different of today's society. I think family structure is much more rigid, and a man rules family decisions. Everything the man kind of decide what to do and how to spend the money, and especially sons and daughters' marriage. I think they would arrange the marriage because in that way they have very nice, prospect of future happiness for their children. And so this is unlike the other father-daughter relationship. This is about the mother and daughter relationship. And the mother is played by Setsuko Hara, the legendary actress Setsuko Hara. Still beautiful and young, and almost like a daughter is played by Yoko, Tsukasa. And those two people are very beautiful. It's stunning to see them together. It's almost like a sisters, because mother is kind of young, but mother lost her husband, and in the beginning of the movie is like a funeral of this Setsuko Hara losing her husband, and the daughter and Setsuko Hara is pretty much like responsible for this particular funeral ceremony, and that is well depicted. And but again, this all other Ozu's film, that bunch of this gang of middle-aged men congregating friends, I think late father's friends, get together and talking about their children's marriage and all these things. So in that way, I think it's a little bit repetitive, I would say, but still, I think it's a very, very enjoyable film here by Ozu. And this is also color film, and I kind of started to investigate where he put this. The first color film by him is the Equinox Flower, and in that one, it very consciously depicted this particular red kettle and red object here and there. And I was kind of curious if this movie is also the same way. Yeah, and I try to see that the red pattern is there, and it's there, but it's not as conspicuous. It's not like obvious. And so I don't think in this film it's not the intention of the red scheme of the red color. So for me, I think it's much more peaceful, enjoyable study of the family post-war era, and more or less like a happy family, steady, very, very solid family relationship, but yet this mother and daughter has to apart because they are very happy together, living in the small household, and trying to go for the trip, overnight trip here and there, and they talk about, well, how long we can keep on doing this, but we are so happy doing this. Maybe this is the last time that we can do this trip together or something like that. So, this love relationship, mother and daughter, is tremendous. And because of that, I think there's a lot of difficulty that they, kind of has to get away from that particular situation in such a way that social pressure, Japanese traditions, and all these things kind of force you to get married. Especially the daughter should get married when they are young, and so it's about this scheming. This late father's friends scheming that, I have lots of candidates for this beautiful daughter's husband, but also they seems to be a little bit more not interested, and because of the mother is alone, and mother should be taken care of by daughter, and but they are still young, so how about if we set up for the mother's remarriage to someone and so forth. So that's the whole thing of the particular film, and it's funny, very funny to watch, and also very interesting to watch how these people's socializing each other and trying to connect something and trying to make up something, but it doesn't end up with always the way they want it, and so that's very typical of the real life situation there. So that's kind of interesting. But regardless, there is this social stigma, social attached cultural, traditional lifestyle still enforced in there, which is a marriage. Especially the daughter has to get married by, because they are not dating with anyone or anything. The love marriage is very common at that time, but still most people have a difficulty finding the suitable, suitors, I would say. And so the arrangement marriage is very, very common, I would say, mostly. I think when you get like a very established rich family, I think arrangement is much more common because they wanted to make sure that their children getting happy marriage in the future, financially secured happy marriage. So there's a conflict there. But the younger generation, especially the younger generation represented by this young daughter, as well as young daughter's colleague and friend, who is played by Mariko Carter, wonderfully played by her, is much, much modern, treatment of this independent, freer, optimistic type of a young woman's life. And that's nice to see in this film. And so this particular film, it's, I think, essentially dealing with this mother and daughter relationship, Setsuko Hara and Yoko Tsukasa, and something that you kind of wow, so wonderful to see those people in the love, mother and daughter love relationship is wonderful there. And so for that sake, I think this particular film became a hit, I would say. As always, that after the equinox flower. I think this particular pattern of that particular movie by Ozu become like a, you know, the movie to go for Japanese people. So he made lots of variation of particular theme, always dealing with the daughter's marriage, I would say. So for that sense, I think it's very, very interesting to watch and also enjoyable to watch. And I think this is one of the most enjoyable Ozu's film. Happy-go-lucky, but yet kind of confined with the Japanese tradition, and but still there's a lot of young people's opinion here and there, and their young people's opinions and the lifestyle is very refreshing to see that, because it represents the future of Japan and represents the freedom from the traditional kind of a dark history tainted past, and that they are trying to get out of that particular pattern of the social pressures and all these things there. So I 100% recommend. This is a beautiful film, and just watching those Yoko, Tsukasa and Setsuko Hara together, and it's very, very pleasurable to watch. This is 1960s film called Late Autumn by Yasujiro Ozu.